The wearable market is around $20 billion in 2023 and is predicted to grow at a rapid rate over the next few years.
It's my belief that in the years to come, 50 to 100% of humanity continuously wearing a health monitor. And I think that'll contribute to humanity being able to live a lot longer.
Well, Ahmed is the founder and CEO of Whoop, which has developed next-generation wearable technology and made huge waves this year as Cristiano Ronaldo was announced as an investor in the company. Will, thank you very much indeed for your time. Can we just start at the beginning, the basics? People are used to seeing fitness bands around a wrist, whatever you want to call it. What does yours do and how do you differentiate it from others in the market?
Yeah, so at Whoop, really we build wearable technology that's designed to improve health, improve performance. It's a very lightweight sensor, it's mostly material, it's designed to disappear in the background. It collects the most data of any wearable on the market. And it's a big focus on accuracy and really finding the way to ultimately help you become a better human. You know, we started this business working with the world's best athletes and you know, athletes like LeBron James and Michael Phelps and Patrick Mahomes and Cristiano Ronaldo. And then over time, the product grew to a really wide consumer base. And I think it's been able to do that for a couple reasons. One is that it's very lightweight and easy to wear. Two is that we simplify a lot of the information that we collect into scores that are digestible. So how well did you sleep? What's your recovery? What's your strain for the day? Are you stressed? Do you have any health alerts? These are the types of questions that Whoop can answer. And then the last reason we've been successful is that we've been able to build a brand around performance. And if you're going to wear something on your body 24/7, I think you want it to have a positive connotation about the world.
Most people, when they have a startup, build a broad, wide base, don't they? And they get to an apex, to a pyramid where they get the big names. You almost did it in reverse. How did that happen?
Well, we actually designed the product initially for the world's best athletes. And that was, I would say, a hard process. You know, it's a very performance-oriented market. But we figured if we could get the very best to authentically wear the product, we could build a brand around performance. And the key word is authentic. You know, we don't go out and put a Whoop on an athlete and pay them to wear it. We find people who really love the technology and then we'll amplify their story. But Whoop is, you know, the #1 product amongst professional athletes, almost all of which don't have any formal relationship with the company. I felt it was the only way to truly build a brand in performance. And if you look at another company that entered the space in 2013 or 14, Nike, they already had all the best athletes in the world, but they didn't build a product for their athletes, they built a product for the mass market. And the challenge was that people didn't end up wearing the product all the time. One, because it didn't really embody, I think, a lot of Nike's values, and two, because it didn't have super accurate data.
But how hard still, nevertheless, was it to get to those athletes? Because you're going to them on a bit of a, you're very sure of your product, but nevertheless, to get access to them is not straightforward. When you say, listen, I've got a really good idea, I know this is really going to help you, lots of people think they have a good idea, but how did you actually manage to get to them?
The key to getting to anyone famous or successful that a lot of other people are trying to get to is to find someone in that person's life who other people don't know. And so in the case of a professional athlete, you're not going to go to their coach or their agent because everyone's going to them. But it turned out the personal trainer, at least in 2014 or 15 when the company was starting to take off, that was a relatively unknown person. And so we could go to the personal trainer of these very high performance athletes and show them the technology, explain it to them, get the trainer's buy-in, and then the trainer would actually bring it to their athletes. So that was how we ultimately built this business at the very elite level to begin.
You started at Harvard, didn't you, building this in 2012. How surprised were you that nobody else had done this at that point?
I got into the space personally because I was always into sports and exercise. I was training as a college athlete. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing to my body. I would overtrain. Other athletes would undertrain, misinterpret fitness peaks, get injured. You know, what is recovery, what is sleep? These were questions that I felt like weren't well understood. And so I did all this physiology research as a student. And what became obvious to me was that there was a lot of really powerful technology to measure the human body, but it wasn't non-invasive. You know, the PSG machine, for example, is the gold standard of sleep monitoring. But you have to put nodes all over your body, and you have to go to a sleep clinic to understand how you sleep. The chest monitor, the heart rate monitor, that was something you have to wear around your chest. It's very uncomfortable, you have to make it wet, but it would give you accurate heart rate data. So I said, well, can we take these really accurate medical technologies and put it in a much smaller form factor and give people non-invasive and continuous measurements of that same level. And that was how the business was founded and built.
Cristiano Ronaldo, how important was it for him to join you and to invest in you in terms of legitimizing Whoop in this part of the world in particular, because obviously he plays here now?
Well, Cristiano is the most followed human being on the planet. He's not just one of the most successful athletes of all time, he's literally the most famous human in the world. And in our case, he had worn Whoop for 2 years before we had ever met. And so I got to know him earlier this year, and we really hit it off. And he also has a deep understanding of his own body, and he's really a sports scientist in a way. And so he likes measurements, he's really into his Whoop data. And so I found in talking to him, here was someone who had a story around performance and data that maybe hadn't been told before. And so then it became just a question of how to tell that story and forming a partnership. He's certainly very popular right now in the GCC, but he's enormously popular globally. And so it's corresponded with Whoop also growing enormously around the world this year.
What's the biggest thing that we do wrong to ourselves as a society that we could improve upon from all the data that you've collected?
That's a great question. I mean, look, first of all, I think you have to measure the human body to be able to manage it. So first and foremost, it's staggering, I think, how few people even measure their sleep, for example. Less than 1% of the world measured their sleep last night. It's my belief that in the years to come, you'll see 50 to 100% of humanity continuously wearing a health monitor. And then that health monitor, with its continuous data and coupled with AI, will be able to tell you everything that's going on, and it'll tell you when something's wrong and you need to go to the emergency room, or you've got an illness or a disease. It'll make healthcare much more preventative versus curative, and I think that'll contribute to humanity being able to live a lot longer.
These are all really important things, Will, but you would agree we need a bit of fun in our life as well. How do you stop this being too prescriptive to say, oh no, you mustn't do that tonight, or don't do that? You take my point. We all need a bit of light and shade.
Well, I think all of it's at the margins. At the end of the day, Whoop is a tool. You have to learn how to use the tool. But I'm blown away just by how uneducated the population is about their own bodies. And you only get one body, and you want to treat it well. And I think everyone has various forms of aspirations in their own life. And so it's not just if you want to be a better athlete, but if you want to be a better student, if you want to be a better mother or father, if you want to be a better executive, what are your hopes and dreams? How do you work towards those? I think one core pillar is understanding your health.
And how much in terms of your startup journey have you incorporated and want to sustainability and environmental issues, which are top of anyone's agenda at the moment?
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that we think a lot about with our manufacturing processes, the materials that we use for the bands, the overall quality of everything we do. We want it to be at the highest level. I mean, at the end of the day, Whoop's a premium product. It's a performance brand. We are on a mission to improve health. So we have to lead with that.
So your message is get to know yourself, get to know your body.
Yeah, I mean, get to know yourself and unlock yourself. Be a better version of yourself.
Well, really interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.